So the housing market has turned into a financially deadly mix of record high home prices, high interest rates, surging inventory, and stubborn sellers. And nowhere is this chaos more evident than here in Las Vegas. Take a look at this. Take a look at these 3 bullet points about the Las Vegas real estate market. The first one says there are 10,358 active listings and 843 new listings in Las Vegas, Nevada. The second one says in Las Vegas, Nevada, homes sold for a median price of $485,000 in July 2025. And the last bullet point says, on average, properties in Las Vegas, Nevada sell after 48 days on the market compared to 29 days last year. So Las Vegas housing inventory has increased about 50% in the last year. Homes are sitting on the market for longer periods of time, and yet we're still at record high home prices here in Las Vegas. It is a head-scratching paradox, and coming up, I'm going to show you some shocking statistics and what you should do if you're thinking about buying a home. What's going on, my YouTube friends? This is Jerry Abbott, your #1 real estate resource here in beautiful Las Vegas. Hey guys, a couple of real quick things before we dive into the video. If this is your first time to the channel and you want to learn the cold hard facts about the U.S. economy, the U.S. real estate market, and specifically about the Las Vegas real estate market, then make sure to subscribe to the channel down below. Number 2, if you happen to like the content in today's video, make sure to press that thumbs up like button, guys. That would really help the channel out. And number 3, if you are thinking about relocating to beautiful Las Vegas, whether it's next month or next year, I've got your back. I'm a local real estate agent here. I've lived here for 20 years. I know every inch of this city. When that time is right for you, definitely reach out to me. Just call, text, or email me anytime, and I'll help you find that perfect dream home. Let's dive into the video. So I want to start out by showing you guys this upcoming list just to show you how unaffordable it is right now for the average person to buy a home. So take a look at this list that just came out from Yahoo Finance. This shows you the highest median home prices in each state, going from the most expensive to the least expensive. So you can see some eye-watering numbers here. So let's just cherry pick a few states here. At the very top is actually Washington, D.C., which is the District of Columbia. The median home price there is the most expensive in the country at $1,277,000. Now, if we look just underneath it, you can see Hawaii is number 2 at $946,000. If we go down to the middle of the list right there in Utah, $620,000. New York is right underneath that at $610,000. And then at the very bottom there, you can see Montana, which is not a highly populated state, is at a mind-boggling $554,000 for the median home price there. Now, if we go to the second page here, take a look at the very top there. It says Maryland, $551,000. If we go down to Nevada, in my state, right there in the middle of the list, $503,000. If we go to the bottom of the list there, at Alaska, $443,000. So let me just show you exactly why the real estate market has become financially deadly to most people. Take a look right in the middle of the page there in the yellow highlight where it says Utah. The median home price in Utah right now is $620,000. In the old days, when you bought a home really was about 3 times the amount of your gross income. So let's say in the old days, you made about $100,000 a year, which was a really good income back, let's say 10, 20, 30 years ago. The home price at that time was about $300,000 if you were to qualify for a home. So you made about 1/3 of the total home price. In today's market right now, if you lived in Utah, as an example, and the median home price is $620,000, that means you would have to make roughly $200,000 a year, which is ridiculous because the average household income is about $85,000 a year. So you can see how skewed the numbers are now, because in the old days, it was about 1/3, and now it's about 5 or 6 times that amount in most of these states, and especially in these high cost of living states where it's much higher than that, which just goes to show you how completely out of control home prices are compared to the annual household income nowadays. Now, drilling down more specifically into the Las Vegas real estate market, I want to show you some bizarre upcoming examples of Las Vegas homes for sale that perfectly illustrate just how crazy the market is here. All right, so what I want to do now is I want to show you guys some specific examples of Las Vegas homes for sale, starting with new home construction and then going over to the popular real estate platform Zillow to show you some resale examples, just to show you the kind of madness that's been going on here in terms of how home prices have escalated and how some of these home builders and sellers now are reducing prices. So let's start here on this particular webpage. Now, this webpage is from the home builder Pulte. Pulte is one of the largest home builders in the country and certainly one of the largest ones here in Las Vegas. But I want to do this. I want you to take a look over here on the left side of the screen here. This home here is a luxury home. You can see in that small red bar at the top right, it says $273,000 in savings. So when we go down here to the very bottom, take a look right there in that yellow highlight. They have it crossed off there. This home was originally priced at $2,308,000. But if we look over here on the left side in that other yellow highlight, it's now been reduced down to $2,035,000. So it's been reduced almost $300,000 on this particular home. But I'm going to get back to this particular home in just in a minute. But here, take a look over on the right side here. On this home here, this home you can see on the top right side, $100,000 in savings. If we go down here to the bottom again in the yellow highlight where it's crossed off, it says was $1,447,000. And then over here in the other yellow highlight, it says now $1,347,000. So this home has been reduced $100,000. Now, if we scroll down just a little bit here, you can see this home, again, on the left side there, in the red bar there, it says $67,000 in savings. If we go down to the yellow highlight right there, it says it was $757,000. And then over here on the left side, it says now $690,000. Now, if I scroll down just a little bit more here, they have other homes that they're building here at different price points. You can see over here on the left side, this home has about $80,000 in savings. The price, again, down at the bottom, you can see was $1,080,000 roughly, and now it's down to $1 million. The one over here on the right, just next to my picture, they have $33,000 in savings. You can see down at the bottom in that highlight, it was $552,000. It's now down to about $520,000. Now, here's the thing. This is where it becomes very misleading with a lot of these home builders, because a lot of them now are starting to use these tactics where on their actual websites, they're showing the homes that they're building that are going through these kinds of price reductions. But here's the thing. Take a look up here. I'm going to scroll all the way back up to the top here because I want to show you this particular home right here at the top. See where it says right there in the top left, Victoria? This is the home that's got $273,000 in savings. And again, this home you can see down at the bottom there was about $2,308,000. It's now down to $2,035,000. But here's where it really gets crazy. I actually did a video home tour of this particular home in this community about 3 years ago. And I want to show you a short clip of it because I want to show you 3 years ago when I was at this very model, what the actual price point was. And then I'm going to come back on the other side and give you my thoughts. So this is the Victoria model, guys. This is 4,500 square feet, 5 bedrooms, 5 baths. We're going to get in there a little bit closer as I walk towards the front. That's what's really crazy about the Las Vegas real estate market. About 3 years ago, that was the peak of the real estate market. And the price of that particular home, as you saw, was about $1.4 million. And again, when we take a look here on the left side of the screen, that same exact model, 3 years later, they were trying to get originally $2.3 million for it, and now it's roughly $2 million for it. But that just goes to show you that in just a few years' time, these new home builders have significantly raised prices in many of the communities here. And again, even though it's showing a price reduction, just think about how much more the home is. 3 years ago, it was about $1.4 million, and you can see right there on the lower left side of the screen, the reduced price is still now well over $2 million. So this is what's so maddening about the Las Vegas real estate market, especially with some of these new home construction builders, because when I looked at this home a few years ago, yes, it was expensive back then, but now it's ridiculously expensive today, and it doesn't even remotely justify this kind of a price increase because the market has not increased in the last 3 years that significantly to take this home from about $1.4 million to now well over $2 million. So again, in my opinion, when I look at a discount like this of $273,000, this is what I consider a fake discount because this home was never really truly valued at $2.3 million. No home goes from $1.4 million to $2.3 million, almost $1 million higher in just 3 years' time. And then they reduce the price to make it look like you're getting a deal, but you're really not. So again, there's a lot of shady tactics that are going on with home sellers and home builders in this current market, especially in places like Las Vegas. So now I'm on the popular real estate platform Zillow, and I want to show you 4 specific examples of Las Vegas homes for sale, starting in the luxury category and then working down to a lower price point, closer to the median price point, which again, here in Las Vegas is about $485,000. Now, these are just a few of the many examples that I find on popular real estate websites like Zillow, because I want to show you some of the ridiculous price increases and some of the significant price reductions that are now happening. So let's take a look at this home right here. You can see on the lower left side of the screen, This is a luxury home in a guard-gated community that's been fully remodeled. I'm going to show you a few more detailed pictures of this home. This home you can see is $3,750,000 right now that's listed for sale. It's a 3-bedroom, 4-bath, 3,500 square foot home. But again, I want to show you a few of the home pictures, and then I want to show you the full price history just to show you the ridiculous price increase on this particular home. All right, so let's just take a look at it. You can see this is a beautifully, fully remodeled home. Now, this home probably went through several $100,000 worth of a full remodel. You can see that entire brand new kitchen area here. You can see a full Olympic-sized lap pool right next to my picture here. You can see the front here, right coming up to the front courtyard area. Again, some various pictures here as I scroll through it. I just want to give you guys a better idea as to how this looks. Again, full remodeled. This is not just a renovation, completely remodeled top to bottom. So here you can get a good idea as to how this home looks here as I scroll through some of the pictures. So now this is where things really get crazy with this particular home. Take a look down at the bottom of the page in that blue highlight. Down on the bottom left side, the date says 2/19/2025. So we're going back almost 7 months ago when this home was sold for $1.7 million. Now take a look just above that where the date in that left yellow highlight says 8/30/2025. So they listed this home for sale just about a week or so ago, and you can see the new listed for sale price is now $3,750,000. Now let's just stop and think about this for a second. This home was very likely sold to an investor about 6 or 7 months ago for $1.7 million. They did an absolutely beautiful full remodeling job to the home. So let's just say they spent $500,000 on the home. That means their total cost went from $1.7 million to about $2.2 million. So instead of them listing the home maybe for a reasonable price in the upper $2 million range and try to make a very nice profit, they're now trying to make a ridiculously obscene profit by listing the home for $3.7 million. So they're obviously trying to make a 7-figure profit on this home without a doubt. And here's the thing, what I'm about to show you is the neighborhood screenshot of the surrounding homes just to show you how ridiculously overpriced this home is compared to the neighborhood values. All right, so right next to my picture, you can see that aerial overhead screenshot image of this particular community. Now, this is a guard-gated golf course community with all luxury homes in it. Now, take a look right at that red flashing arrow, right in that green box right there. That's the subject home that I was just referring to that's currently listed for sale for $3,750,000. But more importantly, take a look at the surrounding homes here. I just want to go through some of the price points here. Just to the right of it, you can see with that red flashing arrow, the next door home is not even $1 million in terms of its valuation. The one below that, $2.4 million. The one below that, $2.8 million. The one below that, $2.4 million. So you can see a lot of these homes are between $1 million and about $2.5 million, which are still expensive, but the subject home is $3,750,000. And when you're looking to buy a home, even though I know most people obviously can't afford a multi-million-dollar home, you never want to buy the most expensive home in the neighborhood, because just because this investor put a beautiful remodel to this home and they're putting this ridiculous price tag on it, that doesn't mean even if you have the money to buy this home, you would ever consider buying at this kind of a price point, because you don't want to buy the most expensive home in the neighborhood. And this home is more expensive than any of the surrounding homes by around $1 million. All right, so now let's take a look at this second example of another Las Vegas home for sale. Now we're coming way down in price, but still right about at the entry luxury price point, which here in Las Vegas is about $1 million. Now you can see on the lower left side of the screen, this home really is considered a luxury home because we're right there at that $1 million price point, which you can see is the current list price. Now this is a 3-bedroom, 5-bath, nearly 2,800 square foot home. You can see this is a very nice, modern, fairly new home. This is only about 10 years old. But again, I want to show you the price reduction on this particular home because this, again, has been on the market for several months. They listed it too high, which you're about to see, and you're going to see the original list price compared to this current list price right now. All right, so again, take a look down at the bottom of the screen in the blue highlight. Down at the bottom left of that highlight, the date says 2/13/2025. So we're going back just about 7 months ago when this home was originally listed for sale for $1,250,000. Then about a month later, you can see just above it in that other yellow highlight, they reduced the price down about $60,000 to $1,190,000. Then a couple of months later, again, just above it, they reduced the price down again about $90,000 to $1.1 million. Still couldn't find a buyer. And then as I scroll up here, you can see that they took it down to about $1,050,000. And then right at the top, right there where it says listed for sale, $1 million, that is now the current list price. So this is again another perfect example of a seller that was far too aggressive on the original list price, and then they're realizing as the market is changing, if they want to sell the home, they have to come in line with current market values. And the current market value in this particular home is really in like the mid to high $900,000 range. So they listed this home a few months ago for about $250,000 more than the current list price, and they still can't even find a buyer now after that $250,000 reduction. So it just goes to show you the market is changing. There's more inventory coming to the market. And whether you're a luxury buyer or an even average price point buyer, as you're about to see, a lot of these homes now are going through price reductions because the sellers were far too aggressive on those original list prices. And if they want the home to sell, they're either going to do one of two things. They're going to reduce the price or they're going to ultimately take it off the market. So if you're thinking about buying a home, being patient or negotiating with these sellers is paramount now, because a lot of these sellers are more motivated because they know the market is changing. All right, so now let's take a look at this third example of another Las Vegas home for sale. Now we're definitely coming down even lower in price. You can see on the lower left side of the screen, this home is currently listed for about $670,000, but just above that in that small red text, it says price cut of $29,000 that happened just about a week or so ago. This is a 5-bedroom, 4-bath, nearly 3,000 square foot home. But in this particular instance, I want to show you the seller's original buying price compared to this current list price, because this seller, when they ultimately sell this home, they are actually going to take a loss on this. All right, so again, take a look down at the bottom of the screen in that blue highlight. Down at the bottom left there, the date says 5/9/2025. So we're going back about 4 months ago when this home was sold for $744,000. Now, if you look just above that in that left yellow highlight, the date says 7/29/2025. So a little over 2 months later, for some odd reason, the seller put this home back on the market for the same exact price they bought it for just a couple of months earlier. They couldn't find a buyer, and then they went through a pretty significant price change. You can see just above it, they dropped it to $699,000, still couldn't find a buyer. And then you can see right there in that yellow highlight, again, it says right there, price change, $669,000. So this seller just in the last few months has dropped the price about $75,000, because the very likely reason why is they probably overpaid for the home a few months ago. They may be running into some kind of a financial problem and they're just trying to unload it. So again, there's a lot more situations like this now popping up where sellers are getting more desperate. Some of them might even run into financial problems and they're willing to take a loss on the home. So if you're thinking about buying a home, that's why you need a real estate professional to run the comparable market analysis around these particular homes that are for sale, to make sure that if you're going to put in an offer, you want to put in an offer that benefits you, not the seller. And in this situation, the seller is the one that's going to end up taking a loss here, and the buyer is likely going to get a better deal when it's all said and done on this particular home. All right, so now let's take a look at this fourth and final example of another Las Vegas home for sale. Now, this home actually is no longer for sale, because you can see at the top left of the screen, right next to that flashing red arrow, that this home actually closed about 6 weeks ago. You can see on the lower left side of the screen, this home closed for $535,000. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,800 square foot home. But again, down below, I want to show you the full price history here compared to where this seller originally bought it several years ago, what they try to get for it, and then ultimately this final sales price of $535,000. All right, so one more time, take a look down at the bottom of the screen in that blue highlight. Down at the bottom left side of that highlight, the date says 1/7/2022. So we're going back a few years ago when this home was sold for just $470,000. But take a look just above it in that left highlight right there in that date where it says 3/23/2025. So about 3 years later, the sellers put this home on the market for $635,000, which of course at that time, just a few months ago, was definitely overpriced, because you can see as I scroll up here, there's a lot of price reductions that happened here. They dropped it into the high 5s, then the mid 5s, and then the low 5s. And then right there in the middle of the screen in that yellow highlight, the home sold about 6 weeks ago for $535,000. So there's a very common trend going on now here in the local Las Vegas real estate market. There's still a tremendous amount of homeowners and investors that are being very greedy and very unrealistic, trying to get ridiculous price points for their homes. But what's happening several months later, as in this example that I just showed, is that many of these sellers are waking up to the reality that they likely have to reduce their home price and sometimes drastically if they want it to sell. So again, if you're a buyer in this market, regardless if it's here in Las Vegas or anywhere in the country, a lot of inventory is coming to market throughout the whole country, especially in popular cities like Las Vegas. So again, many sellers now are becoming more motivated to sell their homes because they know there's more competition. So definitely, if you're a buyer, negotiate with these sellers, or maybe wait it out to the latter part of the year, because when we get closer to the holidays, that's an even slower part of the real estate season, and you're likely going to get a better deal, especially getting into the end of the year, because we're seeing a lot more motivation now from a lot of these sellers. Now, as crazy as these examples are, the truth is that they're not unusual. Overpriced listings are everywhere right now in Las Vegas. So if you're a buyer, the best option right now and the best approach is to be patient, wait for realistic price reductions, and don't be pressured into anything that doesn't make financial sense to you right now. Before I close out today's video, I just want to give a shout out to my favorite comment from last week's video, and that goes to Melissa. Now I'm going to put Melissa's comments up here on full screen. I'm going to read it to you guys, and then I'm going to come back on the other side and give you my thoughts. So Melissa wrote, "Your last point is true. My sister from California is under contract on a condo here in Vegas. She and her hubby are renting, and their dollars will go further here." So that comment from Melissa is referencing something that I mentioned in my video from last week, where I was talking about how the majority of people that are buying homes here in places like Las Vegas are coming from out of state, especially in the neighboring state of California, where it's a very high cost of living and a very high taxable state. So again, a lot of people are moving from California to Las Vegas, which has fueled so much demand and why prices are so much higher. And again, that's what I keep mentioning to a lot of people, but they don't seem to really be picking up on the messaging. The Las Vegas real estate market is not dependent on local workers and the tourism that's going on here, because there are so many out-of-state buyers. Now, I want to hear from you. I want you to drop me a comment down below. I read and respond to all of my comments. If you had an opportunity to move to a city like Las Vegas, where we have 300 days of sunshine per year, the best entertainment, the best restaurants, no state income tax, very low property taxes, if you come from a high cost of living area, you can likely get twice as much home for half the price in those high cost of living areas. Would you move to a place like Las Vegas? I want to know whether or not you would, or whether or not you would not, and you would stay put with where you are. And my favorite comment from this week's video, I'm going to give a direct on-screen shout out to in next week's video. So just to close out the video, the Las Vegas real estate market is in a strange place right now. Record high inventory on one hand, record high home prices on the other hand. Now, if you're a buyer, this is not the time to get swept up in overpriced listings or media hype. If you are thinking about purchasing a home, number one is to be patient. Number two is definitely to track those price reductions. And number three, definitely negotiate with sellers, because again, the market is changing with this increasing inventory. So there are more sellers now that are more motivated. In this market, discipline and timing matters more than anything else. Now, again, I know everybody's circumstances are different when it comes to buying a home. Some people are waiting things out. Some people are buying right now. If you are thinking about purchasing a home, especially here in Las Vegas, I've got your back. I'm a local real estate agent here. I've lived here for 20 years. I know every inch of this city. When that time is right for you, definitely reach out to me. Just call, text, or email me anytime, and I'll help you find that perfect dream home. I'll see you in the next video.